How can a single 1-second accident completely derail months of WWE's creative plans for multiple stars involving championships, even legendary stars? Liv Morgan was on top of her game, a reigning WWE Women's Tag Team Champion involved in multiple storylines, a brewing feud with a returning Hall of Famer, a collision course with Women's World Champion, and a power struggle within the Judgment Day. Wait. You might think WWE just swaps in another wrestler and moves on. You would be wrong. This injury didn't just remove one person from the board, it caused a massive ripple effect, forcing the entire creative team to scrap major plans for a premium live event and completely rethink the futures of at least 5 WWE superstars. Because now we know the 3 massive interconnected storylines that were completely thrown in the trash, including a huge match involving Nikki Bella. We have all the details, and some you probably haven't heard just yet because a new report just broke. We're going to break it all down in today's video. So look, the recent shoulder injury suffered by Liv Morgan, which will require surgery, reportedly caused a major domino effect, forcing WWE to scrap several significant planned storylines. This comes from a new report by Corey Hayes of BodySlam.net that has shed light on what originally was mapped out for Liv Morgan throughout the summer. So according to the report, Morgan was a central figure in multiple programs. She was scheduled to challenge Iyo Sky for the Women's Championship at the Night of Champions Premium Live event. She was then slated to work WWE Hall of Famer at the returning Evolution 2 event on July 13th. So, before we get into the latter part of this, it was Liv Morgan, Iyo Sky, Night of Champions, June 28th. Then they were going to piggyback and they were going to do a match with Nikki. Now, this could have been a singles match at Evolution 2 on July 13th. This could have been a tag team match. It could have seen Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defend the women's tag team titles against the Bella twins, pending Brie Bella coming back, making an agreement with WWE to work a match. So we would either got a singles or we got a tag team match. I think we would have got the latter, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, Brie Bella said, publicly at the Nickelodeon Kids Awards, hey, they haven't talked to me, I'm all ears, yada, yada, yada. The report further noted that further storyline developments within the Judgment Day was set to lead to a mixed tag team match. This would have seen Morgan and Dominic Mysterio team up against Roxanne Perez and Finn Balor. This makes sense because WWE had been heavily putting a focus on, okay, Liv and Roxanne, they're not getting on the same page. They're not butting heads. Finn Balor felt like they needed a new member to the group. He brought in Roxanne Perez. A lot of people thought Roxanne Perez was coming in there to replace Liv Morgan because Liv and Dominic, they were kind of on one side. Raquel Rodriguez, Finn Balor, and Roxanne were on the other side, right? Finn and Dom have been butting heads for a while now, so it would make a logical sense for them to go ahead and do that. Obviously, WWE has to go into a different direction. Now, it should be noted that PW Insider reported this week that WWE is not planning to vacate the championship. So Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan will retain said women's tag team championships. However, we know that Liv Morgan is going to be on the sidelines for multiple months. Some even speculate and fear that, hey, Liv is not going to be back until the end of this year. That would be a major problem for WWE. So with that being said, if you look at it like that, okay, what can we do? If you're WWE, if you're Triple H, what can we do with these titles that in a lot of ways have been always just snake bit? Well, Roxanne Perez makes a heck of a lot of sense, right? It's a plug and play move. You take Liv out of the situation, you put Roxanne in there, and Roxanne and Raquel go on and defend the tag team titles. They did this when they wrote Jade Cargill off of television last November. They brought in Naomi. The storyline step was Nick Aldis told Bianca Belair, look, you need to find a tag team partner or you need to vacate these titles. Either way, you can't defend them by yourself, and we're not going to put these things on ice forever. And so they brought in Naomi, and then obviously it led to Naomi and Jade Cargill into this year. And so I think you just do the exact same thing, right? You have Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez defend the tag team titles for as long as you want. And then when you're ready, you say, all right, this is over. We're going to do a title change. Have Raquel take the loss if you want to, although they are building her up quite a bit, having her work with Rhea Ripley heading into Night of Champions, and then you do whenever Liv is ready, you can have her feud with Raquel, which she was butting heads before she was off TV, or you could do the eventual Liv Morgan Roxanne Perez match. Either way, I'm good with it. Either way, I like it. Either way, I think it's fine. And wherever WWE wants to go with it, hey, I'm all for it, because I think a Liv Morgan Roxanne Perez feud would have been really, really fun. I think they could have a lot of good matches. The only thing I have a problem with is WWE, and I saw this stat, and forgive me, but I can't remember who shared it, but it was something to the effect of like, Roxanne Perez has lost like 18 out of her 19 matches, or has 19 losses, and is like the most losing superstar in WWE of 2025. Which is actually pretty surprising if you think about it, considering, she looks the part, she acts the part, she is the part. They were very, very high on her in NXT. They were very high on her when she came to the main roster, but I feel like they look at her and go, okay, well, we need her to put over X, and we need to put her, we want her on TV, we want her in feuds, we want her in matches, we believe in her, we think she has a high ceiling, but she's not there yet. She's not where we want her yet, so we're going to use her as a utility player, and that's fine, and you can do that for a while, but at the same time, you beat someone over and over and over and over again, what's going to happen? Well, WWE fans are going to look at them and go, oh, well, they're a jobber, or oh, they put over people, or oh, they're not, superstar worthy, or anything like that. Is that fair to say? Is that mean to say? Depending on the circumstance, the situation, the person, the fan, yada, yada, yada. Well, you know, who knows, right? It's just one of those situations. But with Liv and Roxanne, that's a fun feud. I like that feud. I'm down for that feud. So we'll see how they play it out. Liv Morgan, man, she's going to be missed on TV. And I've seen a lot of speculation of like, well, what would WWE do? Would they bring her back to TV and just have her be someone that's on TV, but they can't have her wrestle? Yeah, you could do that, but what's the point, right? Like, if I'm WWE, I'm not putting Liv on TV, because it's no different from like when Steve Austin came back as like the sheriff as in 2003, 2004ish. It's like, okay, he's on TV, but he can't wrestle. Like, he's limited. So how much can you get out of this, right? People don't want to see him as a GM. People don't want to see Liv just doing backstage segments and promos. They want to see her work and wrestle and progress storylines in the ring in a physical manner. That's how WWE pays off its storyline. So if we're not getting that, I don't know what we're getting out of this feud. That's just my take. We'll see what they end up doing.